because West Coast was making a big impression on the whole world. You know what I'm saying?
Think about it, right? They was talking about self-destruction. Now you look out there and they got Bloods and Crips.
They got Bloods and Crips. Man, I went out there. Hey, man, it's Brooklyn Bloods, it's New Jersey Grape Street.
And I done been
it's all kind of shit.
Gangsta chronic bros, this is not your average show.
It's a lot, especially when you start talking about that amount of money, because I know the physical game, right? You're talking about 200,000 records. If you're able to go press up 200,000 records overseas, you got to think about the exchange rate at that time for like the pound, right, compared to the American dollar. So if you go over there and get five, you sell it to them for £5, that means you're getting $10, possibly $10.50, depending on the exchange rate that day. So you talk about millions of dollars being gone, man. Somebody could feel like some kind of way when they getting cut out that amount of cheese.
And see, Eric was like, man, we finna get NWA back together. He had a quick meeting with Cube. He told us, called us on the phone. Was like, man, we gonna make all this shit happen. But shit happens the way it happens.
Now, before we go on this, further, if Easy had stayed alive, let's just say theoretically he stayed alive, you think Ruthless would probably have been the biggest hip hop record label of all time?
Of course, absolutely. Because there wasn't no stopping us. It was something new. It was fresh. It was coming from a suppressed environment where everybody, I don't care where you're from, they related to that. You know what I mean? They influenced all of us, man. I mean, you can go back and say, I might have been rapping at the same time, but out the gate, they influenced all of us, man. They allowed people from a suppressed environment or ghettos or a hood for us to go ahead and capitulate to success. We were very successful because, who would think, man, like a brother from Compton that put up his dope money and years later, you see the family tree he created, it just, on a business administrative level, it's just astronomical. So, of course, they would have been the biggest shit ever. Because Death Row wouldn't be Death Row without the success of Ruthless Records.
Yeah, you got to remember, I think a lot of people forget that when he had all those defectors, he had a bud of law. Y'all was still doing y'all thing, but he signed Bone Thugs and Harmony, who blew the fuck up because they was so different.
Which was dope for it to be out of state. That was always a different kind of flex.
He knew when Eric came to us, he said, look, man, all that, where you from, and I don't care if you Crip, Blood, SA, we got to sell records to everybody. So we don't need none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? We selling records. He understood the vision that we all do now. Like, we mess with a lot of people.
Definitely.
But he understood that vision, and, it's safe to say he was the first one to have that vision.
That's that D-boy. That's that D-boy mentality.
He was definitely a hustler.
You know what I mean? And don't get nothing, don't get nothing twisted.
Everybody.
Rhyme Syndicate was definitely doing their thing.
I want to say,
you know what I mean? At that time.
To me, that's how I look at it, right? Yeah. Rhyme, all the stuff that came with Ice-T and Unknown and all the stuff that came from Easy and everything, which goes to me like Uncle Jam's Army and World Class Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
So all the things, right, because Unknown come from Uncle Jam's Army, Unknown, you get the Ice-T records, you get the Compton Most Wanted, and then all the same from Easy, Dre, everything.
That's crazy. Unknown had him a roster.
Yeah, Techno Hop had a few dudes.
Egyptian Lover was motherfucker.
Techno Hop had us. They had King T. They had
and that's Unknown, right?
Yeah.
So all of that stuff came from those things as a head.
Those elements.
Syndicate, yeah.
But it goes back, man, to influence. Influence is important because all music is recycled. And we were influenced, we was on the cusp of things that we didn't know years later how much West Coast influence would have an impact on the worldwide cultures, from low riding to banging to how we wear our whole shit. We didn't call it a trap, we call it a spot.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We influenced a lot, and at that time, they didn't give East Coast a chance to have breakout records to make millions of dollars. What Eric did, he and Jerry Heller, they showed a blueprint on how to make millions of dollars, because if there was no Ruthless Records and Blueprint, it even goes down to Jay-Z, homie. They wouldn't even know what to do, because on the West Coast, we were making money on the West Coast. East Coast, it started from there, but then when it moved to the West Coast, we were check busting. We were doing our shit. You know what I mean? And it became a rival at that time. I remember Tim Dog had a record called Whoop Whoop Compton. And it's like, why did he do that? You feel me? Because West Coast was making a big impression on the whole world. You know what I'm saying?
Think about it, right? They was talking about self-destruction. Now you look out there and they got Bloods and Crips.
They got Bloods and Crips. Man, I went out there. Hey, man, it's Brooklyn Bloods, it's New Jersey Grape Street.
And I done been
it's all kind of shit.
And I done hung in all the hoods. They got neighborhoods in the Bronx.
They serious too.
UGs in Brooklyn. They got Brims and I was calling still. I'm telling him every time I'm hanging out with different people, they got where Wu-Tang is from. They got Brims and them projects now. You know what I mean?
They serious as a heart attack.
But that's
your ass.
That's you know, now you know, when we look back and you see all the movies you was a part of and different other things that we did, it's like it's deep with the influence, man.
Definitely.
It's super deep, like the gospel, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Gangsta Chronicles, we gon' tell you how it goes.
If I lie, my nose will grow like Pinocchio. We gon' tell you the truth and nothing but the truth.
Gangsta Chronicles, this is not